Tislin from Chaska, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers, we are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Join the community spirit at Four Sisters Farmers Market, a seasonal hub for cultural placemaking, food access, and Indigenous values. Four Sisters Farmers Market has always emphasized their commitment to the community and inclusivity, accepting SNAP and EBT benefits. Stop by and get affordable, healthy, and culturally appropriate local food. Four Sisters Farmers Market is open Thursdays 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and is located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off of Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis. Discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market on their social media accounts.
Dive into a world where tradition meets innovation, satire meets symbolism, and Native American art takes center stage. All My Relations Arts and the Native American Community Development Institute proudly unveil Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde. Alternative is an electrifying exhibition that uses satire to push boundaries and demand a closer look at the vibrant complexities of Native identity in today's world. So embrace the unexpected and challenge norms with Alternative by Frank Buffalo Hyde, showing now at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 59, Thursday cloudy with a high near 72, and Friday showers and storms with a high around 80. Grab a tray of Cafe Latte's Cafeteria and select from a wide variety of soups and sandwiches. The bakery offers fresh baked bread daily, along with cakes and more. And the Pizza and Wine Bar features gourmet pizzas that pair perfectly with their 30-plus wines by the glass. Located off Victoria and Grand, more at CafeLatte.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local. I thought I was going to get through a whole show without making a mistake, Haley.
It's okay.
We discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This segment of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Little Moments Count. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life.
Yeah, well, here at Native Roots Radio, we're always excited to be partnering with Little Moments Count. And, you know, we host conversations focused on early childhood development, which is so important. And we bring guests on the monthly and to talk about how they view the role of early childhood and development and creating bright futures and strong communities. And, boy, that's what we're all about. And we have our friend Barb Fabre, CEO of Indigenous Visioning and a good friend and has been on the show many times. We're so happy to have you on again, Barb. Welcome.
Bonjour. Good to see you too as well. How are you on Juneteenth?
Yes, happy Juneteenth. We're doing well. I'm glad you brought that up. it's something that we support our BIPOC relatives in celebrating, and it's a national holiday in some states, and I know in the state of Minnesota recognizes
Yeah.
Juneteenth in a good way, Haley.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. So always want to support our BIPOC relatives and especially our Afro-Indigenous relatives.
You know, we haven't had you on in a long time, and we're excited, Barb, to have you on. And I'm excited to be a Facebook friend of yours too, so I can kind of spy on you. Um,
Ditto.
Good one. Hey, can you provide an overview of Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative, IPLI, and its primary goals, and remind
Sure.
our listening audience all over Turtle Island?
Sure, sure. So, Indigenous Visioning and All Nations Rise partnered with the National Parent Leadership Initiative a few years ago, and they gave us permission to indigenize it for our tribal communities. And so, as you know, I've been on here before, and just like little moments count, we want to support the parents and their information around child development, brain development, empower their voice, because often, policies and systems are set up, without the parent voice at the table. And our graduates from the Indigenous Parent Leadership, my goodness, they're just wonderful change agents for their family and their tribal communities. So it's been pretty awesome. We've done cohorts 1 and 2. We'll have cohorts 3 and 4, and that's on the White Earth Reservation. So we have parents from White Earth, from all backgrounds and experiences, and they're just doing amazing work. I'm just so proud of them. So, and we're starting again, cohort 3 this fall. So we're gearing for that.
Oh, that's totally exciting. I didn't realize it's only 3. We've amplified this and talked about this for a couple of years, so that's exciting that we've been kinda around, for the ground floor of this great, um, initiative you have.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we've had maybe 1 or 2 of our graduates, and as well as our
Mhm.
project manager, Beth Ann Dodds, and then we also had our co-director of that, is Chris Manning. I believe she was on too, and they just wanted to share about what a wonderful opportunity. It's a 23-week course, so it's there's a commitment on the parents, and it's like 5 hours a week, and they learn about child development. They learn about how systems affect them and their family, and they kind of tune up their leadership skills, and their one of the courses is I over E, which is intellect over emotion. I mean, how many times have you been somewhere like in a tribal council meeting or somewhere, and parents are, they try to get their point across, and, their emotion takes over, and their points, is lost in tears or, anger. And this has just like, boom, turned them right around, and they are amazing. I've heard them all speak, and they're just amazing.
That's some training that we all as, tribal, members could use. Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Right on.
I know from my other job, I've experienced it from my own self too. So to have those tools in the toolbox, and kind of know the correct way and the good way to do things, it just amplifies and helps. I know it helps me, and I'm sure it helps the learners and the people in your program to maneuver it in a good way and be heard, instead of people thinking that I'm an emotional mess.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been on school board, and I used to work with Indian child welfare. So, in the court, or whether it's before the board, and I've been in tribal council meetings. they're so passionate about what they came, but the point gets lost. And now the graduates are just amazing. They're on local, state, and national panels and associations. One is on the National SNAP agency. I mean, it's just amazing. They're just advocates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. There's a couple of curriculum models. Do you care to talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're going to bring in the Indigenous Children's Leadership Initiative. It's another program that the National Parent Leadership Institute has. And so we're going to indigenize that and bring it back. And of course, Dr. Anton Troyer helped us create the cultural foundation that we paired. So we paired an indigenous curriculum with for the Ojibwe and a westernized civic curriculum. So we married them, and that's how IPLI, Indigenous Parent Leadership, came about. And now we're going to do that with the Children's Leadership Initiative. And then just recently, we went into a partnership with the Anna E. Casey Foundation, and they are supporting our alumni to keep them going after graduate, and they're, support them in their community projects. And then they are also interested in partnering with us to create a Indigenous Youth Leadership Initiative. So that's in the works.
Wow, that's exciting stuff. And I just applaud you because you're doing it in a good heart and a good way, and people obviously see that and support you, so you can support the community. I got a quick question before we end the segment here, but the recent developments and achievements. Can you share about the Children's and Youth Leadership Initiatives?
Well, they're for the young groups, and I know we are going to go on break here, but that's for ages 5 through 12, I believe. So, and then the youth one will be, probably around 13 on up to 20. We don't know, but I'm so excited to partner with local programs to help develop that.
Cool. We'll talk more about that. Hey, we're with Barb Fabre, CEO of a founder of Indigenous Visioning at All Nations Rise. We'll be right back after this short break. I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This segment of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Little Moments Count. For more information, you can visit littlemomentscount.org.
Haley, nearly 80% of brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days in small moments of interaction, like talking, playing, reading, and singing. Help create the pathways that builds a child's brain during the early stage of life. And hey, we're here with Barb Fabre, CEO of Indigenous Visioning, and we are just talking a little bit about Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative, and we're always really excited. Before I get into a question, Barb, I think a lot about your other things that you do, like those packages that you send out. And boy, I'd really like to have you come back and just talk about that on one show. And those are changing things that you and your organization and people you partner with just really um, really make things happen.
Miigwech. Yes, we're so excited about Indigivox, and that's for early childhood classrooms up to grade 3. And then our Indigenous family, friends, and neighbor network across the state of Minnesota. It's informal childcare. We want to support kids and families wherever they are.
And like I've always said too, it's really good not only for the young ones, but the family that opens up those boxes with them. And I could use one of those boxes about right now, Haley.
Yeah, really good information and tools in there that are indigenous specifically to our indigenous families.
Yeah, absolutely. So Barb, you're a mover and a shaker, and again, that's why I'm kind of creeping on you on Facebook and watching all the stuff you're doing.
Miigwech. Ditto.
Ditto. There was ditto again. Cool. Hey, let's get into how has the partnership with Anne E. Casey Foundation impact the IPLI, and especially in supporting alumni, which is important, and parents.
Right. Well, after graduation, the graduates, can do a community project to use their skill. And so that community project is whatever their passion is. And we give them a little bit of funding, $500 towards their project. And so there's been some pretty amazing projects that come out of there. And so then when we met with Annie E. Casey, they came up and visited us, and they just absolutely fell in love with the IPLI and everything. And they met the parents. So the graduates really had an effect on them where they wanted to support them after graduation so that they weren't just, left. So they gave us funding to support our alumni and keep that going. And so the goal is just to, graduate multiple cohorts. So just imagine what multiple cohorts of parents, advocate parents in a tribal community. It's beautiful, and we're getting there. And I know other tribes have contacted us. We've been in discussion with the National Parent Leadership Initiative, how to increase capacity and take it to other communities. So we're in those discussions now because, our graduates, and I'm going to quote, one of our graduates said, "This is magic, and it's bigger than all of us." And so when you have a male Indigenous man saying that, you got something pretty special. And each one of them is pretty special.
Well, it's brilliant to keep in touch with the alumni and supporting the alumni, because a lot of times that comes back tenfold too, and that's where our leaders come from. I know at my age, I'm looking for the next leaders to take over the things that I'm doing, whether it's family or young ones that whether it's radio or whatever, to carry on in a good fashion. So alumni are so important.
Absolutely. And then to bring, even start that with children, start leadership in the cultural foundation with them, and all the way up to, 20 years old, we're going to be changing cycles. We're breaking the cycle. And I think that is probably what keeps us going, is just knowing that this is going to be an impact. We are reversing historical trauma, and and then to have our tribes help lead. We support tribes to lead any initiative we have in our communities. So getting tribal councils on board and to understand what IPLI is, because they'll be, I foresee many of these graduates running for different political offices because they're that passionate now that they have the skills and seen what they can do. Yeah, I'm excited.
That is exciting. And, tell us about the grant that, the Minnesota Department of Health, and how will that help, civic engagement with, like, Red Lake and White Earth communities?
Well, like I said, we hope to expand this. We did write for the community community solutions grant through MDH and received it. We received partial funding because they were, the request. A lot of people applied for it, so they had way more requests than they did dollars. So they funded what they could, and we're just grateful we got partial funding. So now, we've had to chase the dollar and try to find additional dollars just to keep it going. But we're confident we'll get that. We've got support from, Northwest Foundation. We applied to Blandon and a couple other ones, but and Annie E. Casey, we're in discussion with Casey Family Programs, the state of Minnesota. So we're confident it's going to get there. It's just doing the capacity building is what's taken a little bit more time than we anticipated.
Yeah, I can imagine. Can you tell us some of the most rewarding experiences and success stories that, you've had, participating in IPLI?
Well, I think the graduates, they've been on NPR several times. They've been, interviewed, and many of them are on several advisory boards and committees, like I said. But it's them, just taking leadership roles has been my most rewarding thing out of it. And just watching them, and they're like kids, I'm like the big auntie, and it's just wonderful to see them. We recently had another graduate, and I hired one of the graduates is working with us on Indigibox. And we're, hoping we wish we could hire them all and we had funding because they are such big advocates. But I think, when Beth Ann and Chris, they work with the parents and they survey them a lot. And so reading the responses from the parents themselves, what comes, out of them and what they think of it is probably the success stories. It's not anything we did or, that it's just what they're coming out on the other side as true child advocates for their family and their community. It's just beautiful.
That is beautiful, and we're all about community. We only have like a minute or two left, but I mean, you've been a lifelong child advocate and a community leader. What kind of advice do you have for parents looking to become more involved and effective leaders in their communities?
Well, there's more and more leadership initiatives happening, and I just tell people, get involved, go to your school board meetings and just listen, get to know what that's about because it affects the your children. Same thing with community councils or any community committee. Get involved, I think, and search out parent, if you feel you want to tune up your leadership skills, there are, like I said, more and more coming out. But just get involved, and it's so rewarding. But if you need skills, definitely, if you don't feel comfortable with public speaking, definitely look at those leadership skills.
Well, Barb, I want to give a big Peenagigi thank you for coming on, and really, it's always nice to talk about the positive work that you're doing in our community, and it's like a little pebble thrown in a pond, and it's reaching all these other Native people and really making the whole society better. Hey, Haley, can you give out a quick shout out to how people can listen to this again? And
Yeah, of course. So this half of the show has been we really appreciate Little Moments Count and their support. You can hear a recording of this show at littlemomentscount.org/podcasts. And for any more information, you can visit their website at littlemomentscount.org.
Barb, thank you so much. How can we get a hold of you? You want to give out your Facebook and email?
Sure. Miigwech, I'm glad to be here, and thank you for asking me on and for Little Moments Count. And you can reach us at allnationsrise.com or indigenousvisioning.com and reach out to us.
Wow. Thank you so much again, Barb. We got to have you on and talk about those Indigenous boxes.
I'll be back.
Just a game changer, and maybe we can get some adult ones out there in the community. Oh, wow. Right on. Thanks, Barb. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
Attention transit customers. On Saturday, June 15th, Metro Transit will make changes to transit service within your community. As we do each quarter, we review our resources and ridership trends. These service changes continue our ongoing work to best serve customers throughout our system with our given resources. A summary of the upcoming service changes and a preview of the updated schedules are available now at metrotransit.org. Again, that's at metrotransit.org.
Hi, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. If you need new windows for your home or business, I highly recommend 952 Windows. They offer windows and doors with the longest warranties and Energy Star's #1 most efficient ratings. I can personally vouch for them, having known the owner for decades. They did a fantastic job on our second floor addition 20 years ago, installing windows, roofing, siding, and even adding a master bedroom and bathroom. In my opinion, they're one of the most best-kept secrets in remodeling. As Onyx Bath and Rosebud cabinet dealers, 952 Windows guarantees top-quality products. Until now, 952 Windows thrived on referrals and the loyalty of satisfied Window Light customers. They continue to support these customers by providing warranty parts for the 80,000 windows sold since 1994. For unbeatable deals and trusted service on windows, doors, roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, and more, call 952 Windows or visit 952windows.com.
AM 950 KTNF St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
No one should have to choose between a paycheck and their health. Whether it's for a new baby, an unexpected illness, or an aging parent, Minnesotans deserve time to care for themselves and their families. That's why Minnesota Democrats are fighting for all working people to have paid family and medical leave. The time is now. Contact your legislator and tell them to pass paid family and medical leave for Minnesota. Learn more at paidleavemn.org. That's paidleavemn.org. Paid for by the Minnesota AFL-CIO.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Howl! With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 59, Thursday cloudy with a high near 72, and Friday showers and storms with a high around 80. Heavy spring rains can lead to damage in areas like your chimney, sidewalks, foundation walls, retaining walls, and more. Protect your home from water damage and avoid costly repairs with Native Concrete. Schedule an appointment with Native Concrete and Masonry today. Visit nativeconcretemasonry.com.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Concrete and Masonry, working together with clients to design, perform, create, and accomplish. Check out their work at nativeconcretemasonry.com.
Hey, I want to get back to wishing everybody a happy Juneteenth. And, Haley, this is like the first U.S. holiday that's illegal to teach in about 15 states. So,
yeah, I saw that.
Isn't
that just absolutely wild?
Yeah, we're in the upside down world at many turns in our driving down the street of happy destiny. It's crazy. Again, I never thought I'd see. Well, I want to just say this years ago when the Gulf War happened, and you must have been little teeny when that happened the first time. I couldn't believe how people were celebrating that, but the good thing out of the whole deal was they were celebrating also our military, which my experience prior to that was the Vietnam War, and the Vietnam War was a total cluster, and protesting and students and President Johnson didn't run again, and just 1968 was crazy Democratic convention. I always talk to when Wendy and I talk about how crazy like it was during George Floyd or the pandemic. I was like, well, nothing was crazier than 1968. You had Martin Luther King killed, assassinated, Bobby Kennedy assassinated, the convention, the war was raging in Vietnam, and people were moving to Canada to not be drafted, because that war too, Haley, was you could be drafted if you were not in college, and if you said you were homosexual, they wouldn't draft you either. But that's a class war if you're going to college and you're just drafting people that aren't into college. It's like, what the?
Yeah. And I think, it just reminds me of all the protesting and stuff at the college campuses that took place, within the past couple months all around Turtle Island for Palestine and to cease fire. And it's just, we look back at these important dates and all of these things that, luckily were ended, such as slavery. You look back at the dates and it really didn't happen all this long ago. So it's amazing to see how far we've come, but yet still need to go a long ways.
Yeah, definitely. And we just got to keep on talking and talking in a good way.
Yep.
About things that that matter to us, and steady she's goes. I just don't believe a lot of the things that are going on in mass media, and when they talk about how close things are, we definitely need to be vigilant. But
Yeah.
um, you know, in order for the press to work and to make money, they have to say things are closer than they are. They have to give Trump normalize everything that he's saying, and it's crazy. It's totally crazy. Again, it's funny. I've joked with a couple of our guests over the year. It's that there was a guy running for president, and there was a picture of him on a boat with somebody, taking a picture with him that wasn't his wife, and that was the end of his presidency.
Wow.
That's how the moral compass in a sense has really changed. And
Yeah.
this fake billionaire that was a TV star has people really, really engaged, and it's scary because it's not a religious war. It's people about power, and people think they're losing power. They're going to jump on um,
Yeah.
the ship.
Power and money.
Yeah, but they're going to jump on the ship. It's like Trump's for 1% of the people, if that, and just the rich people. But they don't seem to care or understand that because they feel like they're losing power. So it's a weird world we live in. But vote early and take your friends to the polls and
Yeah. And
people that
learn the
need that.
correct history.
Yeah. Well, and I think we preach to the choir here on Native Roots Radio. It's just that I feel like there's so much down news that I'd like to snap out of and say, "Hey, we outnumber them. We beat them by 8 million votes last time and 3 million the other time with Hillary, and we just need to engage and keep our people moving because there's not going to be any change that we'd like as progressive people if we don't have people in office that can move the dial. And definitely Trump and all those Trumpsters aren't going to be doing that.
No.
No, exactly.
That's all I got to say about those Trumpers. It's
Right
just
on.
nothing.
Well, yeah. So I didn't mean to get dark there because we like to keep things positive here too. And we have Bob Blake coming on later in the show. And
Yeah.
Haley, you got a few things I want to say this is that if you want to meet Haley in person, she's going to be at the Four Sisters Market at running Native Roots Trading Post.
Yeah. Come out and get some t-shirts. We have hats, hoodies,
Books.
What's your favorite t-shirt that we currently have? I got to say mine's probably the Purple Rain dancer one.
Yeah, I designed that one, and I appreciate that. And I like the one that looks like Pink Floyd. It's on a black T-shirt, and it's instead of it has a teepee right in the middle, but so you have to really kind of look at it. It's really subtle and very
Yeah.
cool. That was our number one seller at the state fair.
It was. And I remember just being in community and like not even knowing some of these people. And they were just wearing, those Pink Floyd teepee hats. And I'm like, hey, I know where you got that. That's Native Roots Trading Post.
We'll have those there.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, definitely. So, and what I like too is we'll have a couple books. People buy books too, and we'll have American Indian Movement Pictorial History. That's a really big book, and of course, the new book. We'll have one or two of those. The book about Minnesota's removal of Ho-Chunk, and then our Letsky, but our Uncle Clyde's biography. Clyde was a good friend of ours. Clyde Belcourt, founder of Native American movement,
American Indian
movement, and and I spent a lot of time with him in his last years of his life, and got to go to Wounded Knee with him and see him really in action, and we'll miss him. And but he has a book, and he'd tell stories, and it was like right out of the book. So there was definitely consistency.
Yeah, Clyde's a great one. I So the farmers markets, we're talking about the Four Sisters Farmers Market. It's filled with vendors. It happens every Thursday on 1414 East Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis. This is a program put on by NACD, Native American Community Development Institute, one of our really amazing sponsors who does so much great work in the community. Some of the vendors that will be there tomorrow along the American Indian Cultural Corridor will be the Minneapolis Fire Department. So David Carson, one of our good friends and recognized community members, will be there, I'm sure. Native Youth Arts Collective, Standing Bear Designs, Indigenous Beauty, Make Voting a Tradition will be tabling. So always good to chat with those guys and Jolene Jones. And then the Four Sisters Farmers Market will also be doing an artist in residence with Natchez Bolio. So come celebrate the summer solstice. That's what this week's theme, which is really cool, the summer solstice. And they're going to be doing some art projects. So it'll be going on from 10 to 3 p.m. and that's every Thursday.
Absolutely. And come out and meet Haley, and I'll be around, lurking around with my sunglasses on, so you may be able to catch me walking through.
Always. I feel like we try to get there almost every week.
Exactly. Hey, I just want to say, too, a big shout out. One of my all-time favorite baseball players, Willie Mays, passed away. And I just want to bring that up because I'm a huge baseball fan. And, you know, Babe Ruth, I believe, was the greatest baseball player of all time, only because he pitched, too. He could have been a Hall of Famer as a pitcher, along with 714 home runs. But many people believe Willie Mays was the greatest player of all time because he was a 5-tool player, throwing, running, catching, hitting.
Yeah, it's always hard when we lose, you know, those really amazing legends. I want to give a shout out to one of our good friends. Probably, you know, you've known her a lot longer. Madonna Thunderhawk's birthday was yesterday. Yeah, who is the matriarch warrior, our matriarch leader for Warrior Women's Project. And we actually just had her on last month. So if you want to hear part of that interview with Madonna Thunderhawk, that would be from May 20th.
Yeah. And, you know, like I was talking about Willie Mays, and Madonna's getting up there in years too. Like I always joke that I saw her when she was 79 years old on a horse at Wounded Knee. And I was just going, what the heck?
Yeah,
You know?
just amazing, amazing woman.
I'm 63 and I don't want to even get on a bike because I don't know what's going to happen, let alone a human horse.
Right. I know. And we have birthdays coming up in our family too. So a big Ho-Chani Hump, Kebeske, happy birthday to our relatives, my brother and your twin daughters, Jelaine and Jaleesa.
Yes, their birthdays are coming up too. Definitely. Really excited. And we have grandchildren coming, so really pumped up for that. And I got to clean that office out. Haley, you got to come over and help me. I'll pay you.
I could do that. Anything for those, you know, anything for those grandkids. And I'm so excited to be an auntie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it takes a village too. And so we'll be definitely, you know, checking out and hanging out. And I plan on doing a lot of singing to the new twins.
Yeah. Do you think they'll like that?
Well, I have perfect pitch, so everybody likes that, Haley. Darn
Okay, I believe you. He's telling the truth, you guys.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, we got Bob Blake up next. And
Yes, we do.
We love talking to him, and it's a lot of positive energy right there. So, hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio's what day is it? Wednesday's edition of I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Attention transit customers. On Saturday, June 15th, Metro Transit will make changes to transit service within your community. As we do each quarter, we review our resources and ridership trends. These service changes continue our ongoing work to best serve customers throughout our system with our given resources. A summary of the upcoming service changes and a preview of the updated schedules are available now at metrotransit.org. Again, that's at metrotransit.org.
As we emerge from the shadows of the pandemic, let us celebrate our resilience and embrace the path to a brighter future. While the COVID-19 emergency declaration may be over, our commitment to safety remains stronger than ever. We invite you to stand tall and protect what matters most, our health and the well-being of our loved ones and elders. The power to keep our community safe lies within each one of us. It's important to remember the basics when you're with someone who might be at risk of COVID complications. Wear your mask, wash your hands often, and take an at-home COVID test if you have any symptoms. We are a strong and interconnected community, and together we will emerge from this challenge stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the spirit of our Native American culture thriving. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Hi, I'm Chuck Manette, owner of Native Concrete and Masonry. With concrete and masonry adding substantial value to your home, it's always a great idea to repair your sidewalks or just add a beautiful new patio. Cracks or heaving in your sidewalks due to tree roots can be dangerous. Native Concrete and Masonry has helped clients across the metro to make their outdoor space safer and helped increase the value to their homes. For patios, sidewalks, driveways, or garage slabs, go to nativeconcretemasonry.com.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awakened. This is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, we have our friend Bob Blake with the Solar Bear, with the Solar News, and also CEO of nonprofit Native Sun. Good to see you, Bob.
Good to see all of you. Robert, I've got some really cool news here for the state of Minnesota. There is, it looks like this license plate for solar for pollinator. Okay, so there's a pollinator-friendly solar act. And what's going to be a part of this is solar panels are on top of these pollinator-friendly like solar farms. You know, you see all the solar panels out there in the field. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath those solar panels is like pollinator friendly, like, plants, right? That are good for the bees. Here's the thing, everyone listening to the show right now. The bees love solar because the solar heats up and then they can go and create their beehives and, do their stuff. You know what I mean? What bees do. But the point is that the panels are above these pollinator friendly, prairies. And then the bees can go out there, create more pollinator friendly plants for us. So, we can breathe oxygen and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know,
and eat
fruit. And eat fruit. We could live as human beings.
Right.
So the bees really love solar. Now, get this: the state of Minnesota is going to come out with a license plate now that contributes X amount of dollars, folks, that you now can put on the back of you can put on your vehicle as your license plate. And it's just like the other kind of habitat for Minnesota license plate. There's X amount of dollars that go into these funds. But I think this is really smart because this supports, the pollinator friendly habitat spaces for bees and such birds and it combines it with solar energy, which can produce clean energy for our community. So I really love this, and I think it's awesome. I know I'll be getting one of these license plates when they emerge. But
Bob, can we get a T-shirt that says "Bees love solar" and then have a bee carrying a solar panel or something?
I think that would be a great That would be a great idea. And you know where we should sell it at? The Native Roots Trading Post. That would be my opinion.
Yeah.
Where's my applause button there? Yeah.
Well, another thing happening, Robert, in the world of renewable energy, data centers. Data centers are going to be placed in the Northern Plains here, and this is looking like a great area for them because it's going to be cool, when it's in the wintertime for them, and they require a lot of energy. But these companies, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, want to use renewable energy. So tribal nations out there, this is a great time, to sell power to these folks. But the other piece about this is just that this is just a great place for it. So just to let you know that that's going to be a really big issue coming in the future, and data centers are going to be placed. And there is the one down there by Prairie Island that's being put together right now from, I think it's Google or Microsoft are putting it down there in Red Wing. So
that's cool.
yeah.
That's big for whoever's has a empty building and they, especially one of the nations, and put these in there and keep them cool and
Yeah.
make some money.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this is going to be really huge. And this was my idea, Robert, in getting the Tribal Energy Advisory Board piece of legislation passed in the state of Minnesota. So, this can act as an advocate for a lot of what's going to be happening here in the future. That was Bob Blake's big idea here, to have this advocacy piece at the state legislation, at the state, so they could advocate on behalf of tribes, or, transmission building, data centers. We know we have the Public Utilities Commission, but we really do need a Tribal Utilities Commission after all these tribes start creating their own utilities, and this could be that voice. So trying to think ahead, but that's the concept, because you're seeing all these things happen. And some other news, Robert, 96 degrees today. It's going to get hotter in Bangor, Maine. This is like Bangor, Maine, Robert, hit 96 today. Yeah, that's way up there to the northeast side there. So they have like a heat dome over there right now. New York, Robert, I know you go out to New York a lot with Wendy.
Yep.
And so there's a big heat dome over that area, but that's crazy. So they broke their all-time record today. So folks, and there's some wildfires that are happening out on the West Coast. We really need to take climate change serious.
Definitely. And they were saying that, Robert, that up north, northeast of the United States with that dome, that's the hottest it's ever been recorded in June. And it's right off the ocean. So I think it's way up there just forever.
Yeah. It's so we really need to get on renewable energy to reduce our carbon footprint. And this is by getting renewable energy, doing what Solar Bear has been talking about, Robert, for the last 5-6 years. We've been doing this, Robert, together. Screaming from the top of the mountain, but we really need to do this. And yes, the Solar Bear will be up at the Red Lake Power during 4th of July weekend. We will have the Mustang Mach-E out there for everybody to check out. We'll have giveaways, Robert, Native Sun hats, Native Sun swag, and then we're going to be raffling off a few things for folks to participate in a drawing. But come and see the Native Sun Mustang Mach-E that we have, and then I think we got a meeting coming up with the Ho-Chunk Nation.
Let's hope so. Let's do it.
That's exciting.
Definitely. So Haley's going to be up there July 4th. Put my name in that drawing, Haley.
Yeah, right. I'll be up there with Representative Heather Keeler. So we'll be on the lookout to do some interviews with some really cool people. Maybe we can come spot you and talk to you, Bob. And I'll definitely wear my Solar Bear hat up there.
Yeah, and come by and get a free Native Sun hat. And I just put in the order today, so I hope they're done, everyone. But I will be speaking. I will be speaking next week at the. I will be the keynote speaker for the Wisconsin Tribal Climate Adaptation Concert at the Oneida Events Center or Hotel, right there in Green Bay. So I will be the keynote speaker there next Wednesday or something. So come check me out if you all can. I will be there, be talking to everybody. So really excited to give that keynote speech, and be a part of that wonderful event of all the tribal nations talking about.
Right on. And what is that? Is that the end? Is that the Solar Bear with the solar news?
Oh, one last event next month. I'll be at the Bezos Electric School Bus in Baltimore, Maryland. And we will be talking about getting electric school buses and really pushing that for our kids across the country. And then the month after that, I'll be doing a electric bike ride across the state of Minnesota with folks from Patagonia and Yale and Stanford. So let me know, Robert, if you want to be a part of that and do an interview. We'll get you interviewing all these folks.
Yeah, that sounds great. And Peeny Gigi, Robert Blake from Red Lake, owner of Solar Bear and CEO of Native Sun, will be back tomorrow. Hey, a big Peeny Gigi. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier. Now.
As nature